Happy Thursday! Thanks for joining me tonight for a craft night with friends. My name's Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. All right, you guys, we are just about done with our D dog embroidery. We just have the second little D to do, so we'll do that tonight. And then we will pin it together with the batting and the backing fabric to prep it for quilting, which we'll do tomorrow. So that's the plan for the evening. Thanks again for joining. All right, let's get on into here right away. Okay, so where we left off was, hold on, let me try and get it stop moving here. Okay, so we did a few things yesterday. We added the cute little detail of the collar, and we used that Nishiki Ito metallic thread, and look how shiny and pretty that turned out. They're like perfect little like sterling balls on there. It's just pretty. So I really like how that turned out. And then we got the first letter D done, and we have the second one with all of our little lines drawn in, our little guidelines ready to go already. So I'm gonna just get started. Oh, there's even a knot at the end. I don't know how that got there. Probably on accident, but that's gonna work out great for our little away knot. So let's thread this end here. So I hope everyone is having a lovely evening tonight. And yeah, let's see how far or how fast we can get this done, I guess. All right, so I'm coming with a way knot from a little ways away there. And here, I'm going to scooch you guys this way a hair. There we are. Okay. So I'm going to start from this side. I think I'm going to just start by putting in all of these landmarks, like so all of these little lines that we drew in. I'll draw like the top, I'll do the top line, and then I'll jump and do these other pieces, and then I think I'll work my way back up. Actually, I probably should have started at the bottom, worked my way up, and then come back down and ended up here, but whatever. Either way is going to be fine. So I am just placing these kind of like parallel guideposts so that when I stitch the rest of the stitches, it'll be easier for me to get them all parallel. So that's the deal. Ooh, there's not one here, but I'm going to put one here. This is like where it goes across and hits the circular part there. But yeah, that metallic thread turned out super duper nice. I need to use that a whole lot more, I think. I have a bunch of it. We'll have to think of more fun metallic-y things to do. It might be a quick evening tonight, because my plan is to just do this letter D and then prep this for quilting, and then tomorrow we can quilt. However, we could practice like a quilt design a little bit, just on paper. So I did do some research this morning. I'm like, what's the a good way to learn how to quilt, like to get in and out of spaces and all that sort of thing. And man, the best I could find is, people showing how to do specific things. But the biggest thing is, I think, just to practice on paper a little bit. So I thought we could do that. I just need to start looking at more motifs and that sort of thing, I think. A lot of echoing designs, and then doing a lot of fills, I think, a little bit. So that's what we'll do tomorrow. I'll get the sewing machine out again, and we will quilt the dog. And I would like to actually start the cut the sashing pieces for the project as well. So I'm hoping that we could do that tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing this. Oh, hey! Oh, awesome! Robin says, I got the embroidery of the month and love the added gift. Yes! So here's the embroidery of the month. So we'll actually be stitching this next week. So this is our next week's project. A bunch of cute little space fellers. And the free gift in there this month is this fun, like, tall notepad. I think there's like 50 sheets in there. And it's got like this fun graph paper, this colorful graph paper on there as well. I love these for just like grocery notes and stuff like that. But I just love these little notepads. And this one was just so bright and fun. So if you get the embroidery of the month this month, you'll get the freebie. So this is the freebie for the month. But I really like how that turned out, and I like that tall size as well. What side did I start on? That side. So I gotta start on this side. But yeah, I really like how those turned out. Oh, Gretchen says, yes, got mine too, and I love my mystery gift. Yay! Oh, Kathy says, I made it here tonight. Oh, the dog is cute too. Nice to see you, Kathy. Yeah, I like this month's freebie for sure. I'm glad you like it, Robin. That makes me happy. I use so many little notepads like that. And I just like having them around the house too. And then there's always one nearby if you get an idea or something. Oh, Nora says, got mine today. Love it. It made my day more special. Oh, that's nice. Alrighty. So this is kind of more just the basic satin stitch where I'm just all going in one direction, and then we get crazy and like start rotating it a little bit, which is a little bit more advanced, but not undoable. I mean, we've done them for a couple blocks already. Oh, I'm getting like a little funny knot that keeps popping up here. I think there's just a little twist in my thread there or something. I'll get past that spot soon. I like this red though with the dog. Oh yeah, that's right. We did that satin stitch that is at different angles here too, like different angled triangles, just to give some more texture to the collar there. Man, we're really playing with the satin stitch this time. Kind of fun. I was thinking about that, like doing that punch needle of the tulip again today. I'm gonna have to see if I can find some various supplies. I just need to do like a full craft go through and clean up all my crafts and reorganize it, but ugh, that sounds like that could take a week or more, and I don't have that time to dedicate to it. I'll just have to do it little by little. Oh, Abby Cat says, I love this pup's expression. Oh, thanks so much. Little bloopy dog. Almost to the top. Oh, Kathy says, interested in your embroidery on the letters. My satin stitches are not good at all. We'll have to try your method. The method of like putting the little like guideposts in, that super duper duper helps me a ton. For sure, because I'm always kind of like looking at the next one. So here, here's an example. Like right now, it's very, very minor, but I can tell that this space is a little bit smaller than this space. So I'm going to try and like keep my eye on that and like equalize it out by the time I get to there. So I'm always always on like comparison control, or patrol, let's call it that, comparison patrol. And just trying to like, so if I want to get up to this side faster or whatever to get that angle, I'll like go like 2 little stitches over, and on this side I'll go one not stitch but one thread, like fabric thread over, to kind of equalize it out. Although I can kind of tell that this one's maybe a hair crooked, like off by a tiny thread. But it helps having those guideposts there, for sure. Oh, okay, Amy, that's what you're talking about. Amy says a whiteboard, erase it and use it over and over again. That's smart for like quilt practicing. That's a good idea. Yeah, I wonder. I think I do have a little whiteboard. Ooh, and I think it's in one of the bins. It's in one of my like craft bins, hiding out. Great. I'm gonna have to get that out, and I love that idea. That would just be fun to have out and about for the purpose of practicing. Okay, I love that. I'm gonna get that too. Get all my crafty stuffs from the basement bins. All right, we got that first little bit done. So I'm all the way up here with my thread now, and I want to get to here. So I'm just going to kind of go in the back of my stitches, just so I'm not like making a little jump there. I think that's good. I'm gonna definitely need more floss here. So let's just try and work around the edges. I'm gonna, or like, I'm gonna, not the edges, I'm gonna do the lines that we've drawn in first, and actually I'm gonna add some here. I want it kind of vertical here too. I feel like I'm just missing a guidepost is all, so I'm gonna add an extra. And then I'm gonna go around and get all these. And then see if I have any thread left, and I'll come back up the other direction and give that a go. But yeah, I'm going to need more thread real soon here, and I think I need to cut a whole fresh piece, which is fine. But yeah, now you can kind of see what we're doing here. I'm like switching the angles a little bit, and then yeah, we'll fill in those gaps, and then this I'll really have to like, I'll have to like do like 2 threads away from the last stitch and like 1 thread on the inside here, just because it's so much wider apart on the outer edge. Oh, that makes sense. Catherine says clear plexiglass is good. You can place it over your block and see what it will look like. That makes a lot of sense. I wonder if we have anything like that. Like any little plexiglass thing. I'll have to dig around. I know for sure I have a small whiteboard. But yeah, I like the idea of plexiglass too. That'd be good. Like, it'd be nice to just have the whiteboard just to like be around to grab and just practice, where I can't see through it. And then it'd be nice to have a plexiglass just like in the nearby vicinity here, so we can test things like right before we quilt. I like that idea a ton. All right, made it around. I have a little bit of thread left, so I'm gonna get as many stitches in here as I can. This guy's gonna go straight up here. I'm just leaving them. I suppose I could have angled them in as I got to the edge here, but I like the idea of them straight and then they start moving. But I could have kept pivoting them around, and then I'd have like these little itty bitty triangles there. That would have worked too. That actually might have worked, really looked like it would match more because we got those little triangles there. Would have kind of had that same effect, but I'm already doing these tall ones, so we'll leave it at that. So many artsy decisions to make, little minutia decisions that change the look just a little bit here and there. Alright, get that guy in there. I'm not sure I'll be able to make it all around here. I think I'm going to add an extra one in here. And I'll probably do this pretty often, going around this edge. I'm going to just half both sides again. And that'll make it a little bit easier to fill in. So now I can feel like, okay, maybe two go here. Maybe one on the next one. Kind of tight here. So this is going to be my last stitch, I think, and then we'll get more thread. Can we see the back? Definitely. I will be headed to the back in 2 seconds here to weave this end in. All right, so there's where we are right now, and here's the back we got going. Oh, and I can weave in that away knot end, that reserve that we've put aside there. I can do that now too. So 1, 2, and 3 passes. Oh, I do try and keep a super clean back, mostly because I hate when my thread catches on other knots and stuff, so I don't like jump around very often. This would be different if I was doing like a fully filled in shape, like if I was like thread painting, or like, you know, you've seen like maybe like, you know, those dog portraits that someone does that's it's all color filled in. Like if I would do that, I wouldn't mind so much just jumping around because you wouldn't be able to see the stitches. But when I just do a line, I do try and stick to the line. So that's why you'll see me kind of weaving in the ends instead of tying knots on the back. Just because I hate thread accidentally catching on those knots. And then you have those little like fuzzles at the end of the knot that sometimes pull to the front, and I hate that. So by weaving in the ends, I've gotten rid of the knots, and that alone has made the backs so much cleaner. Like that took care of a lot of the like crazy on the back, but it does not matter if the back is like super messy. I just I like to try and keep it relatively within my, like, in the lines, like, oh, you know, I won't jump over across a body or something because I don't want to see that from the front. Unless I'm like filling it in, then it's fine. Oh, Casey says, "Oh my God, there's no backside." So it's a good skill to practice a little bit. And again, I'm basically doing it by weaving in the ends instead of tying a knot. So here you can kind of see the ends are woven in there, and I'm gonna do that on right here as well. So I mean, this works great. It's good to practice just because, you know, then if you did like a tea towel or even like a t-shirt or something where the back, where you might actually see the back, it's not being covered up, then it's kind of helpful. Where's the end? Here we go. All right, getting another piece of thread. So I'm getting my like 24 inches or so here. Let's get our threads. So I'm just bop in the end again, and we're gonna get, I'm working with 3 strands of floss from the 6 strands of floss, so I'm gonna just pull those 3 out. Just hitting the end is me trying to separate one of the threads from the others, because I can only pull them out like one at a time like this. Zoop. All right, there we are. Put them back together. Oh, Kathy says he's so cute. Thanks so much. Yeah, I like how he's turning out for sure. And that metal, like using that metallic floss, I forgot who thought about that a couple days ago, but that was a great idea, and that was fun to go find that thread again and use it. I need to use it more often. It just always turns out really fun with that metallic thread. All right, so now, like I was saying, so instead of tying a knot at the end, I'm going to weave in the stitches into stitches that already exist, if they exist. So I'm pulling those threads in, and then I'm going back and forth 2 more times. So I go back and forth behind the stitches like 3 times, and that kind of locks it in. The second time you could still pull it out if you tugged at it, but the third time, if I pull on this, that's not coming out now. And there, so there's no knot, there's no extra little fuzzles anywhere, we're just good to go. And we'll start it up again. So I think I just need like 1 in here. But I'm definitely gonna like be splitting these in half because the angles of these shift so much because we're doing that weird satin stitch of changing the angles that I need to change them less. So we're just cutting it in half again, and then it's not so drastic. Then I can see like, oh, okay, yeah, that's just 1 more stitch. I think I'm going to do 2 here. It's pretty tight up top, but at this edge it feels like it needs one. Actually, that's not too bad. Let's just get to the other side right away. Ooh, but I think I do want to put this one in half again. Can't wait to quilt this guy tomorrow. It's been fun to get these a little further along, where we do actually have time at the end of the week to quilt them. The backing fabric and sashing require how much fabric? So, okay, so Justin, we are going to be putting a blog post up probably on Monday, maybe this weekend, that I have put all my measurements that I'm going to be doing for this project. So I think, and I'm gonna do it a hair different than the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt. I'm going to do the same size sashing and back binding pieces, like the same width, and I'll go through that process. Maybe we'll do that a little bit tomorrow too, if we can. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look at that. But anyway, so I'll have some more measurements and stuff coming up. I'm going to ultimately cut these, once they're quilted, I'm going to cut these blocks down to 8.5 inches. And then once they're sewn in the quilt, they'll be 8 inches. So they're going to start off at 8.5 inches. So my sashing pieces and my back binding pieces, we need both for each join. They're going to be 8.5 inches by 1 inch. So that's for both the front and the back quilt as you go pieces. I think it's something like 24 of those, and then for the sideways ones, you need 5. And those are going to be like 42.5 inches or something like that by 1 inch. So we'll have to probably assemble a bunch. So you can use all the same fabric if you want. I'm thinking that I might actually take a bunch of different fabric cut it all into like 1-inch strips and then sew those strips together. So I have just like a collage of, one long piece or something that's 1 inch wide, and then I'll cut my 8.5 inches for the sashing from there. I think that might be a fun way to do it, because then I can use up scraps and it'll be colorful and fun on the front. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 4 corner blocks yet, but it's starting to come together in my brain a little bit. But I'll have like the actual measurements that I'll be using for this quilt. It's not going to end up being very big the way I'm doing it. It's just going to be like, what is it? It's going to be around like 48 inches by 42 inches. I think something like that when it's done. So it's a pretty small, but perfect baby quilt size for sure. But dang, there are so many different ways to do the quilt as you go process. I was doing more research on it today. So I'm going to basically adapt the way that we've been doing the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt as you go process with a slight, there's just going to be a slight variation in that, and that's going to be in that back binding piece. So we'll go over that. But dang, there's some really good ways of doing quilt as you go. So I have definitely more to try in the future. But for this particular quilt, we'll be doing the quilt as you go with that little sashing and backing piece. Again, the difference will be that they'll be the same size this time, whereas in the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt, they're different widths. But this time they'll both be 1 inch wide. We're getting there. So I'm gonna actually turn the iron on, and we'll press this a little bit, and then I'm going to, right now I'm gonna do just all vertical to the end. But I think I'm gonna put this into I'm gonna assemble this right away. So we'll make our little quilt sandwich, I guess is what they call them. So basically prepping this for tomorrow's live, where we'll actually do the quilting of it again, and I think that'll be kind of fun. Makes me feel like we're really far ahead on this project, even though we only have 4 letters, right? So that's kind of nice. I always like feeling like I'm far on quilt projects. It's a rare feeling for quilt projects, I feel like. All right, I think that guy's gonna go about to there. All right, I think we filled in those spaces pretty well. I like it. I think that's looking great. All right, so let's weave in that end, and this feller's done then. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to, I'm still jumping ahead in my brain, but I'm going to get those pieces so we can assemble stuff. First I want to press this. That's why I turned the iron on. Okay, so ultimately what our plan is for this, if you're new here, let's take this out of the hoop. Oh gosh, I made that really tight. Justin's asking for hand sewing the sandwiching part, does it make sense to use the thinnest batting we can find? I don't know for sure, but in my head, that makes sense. Like a thin batting. Is anyone in the comments, have you done a lot of, or anyone who's done a lot of hand quilting? Does that seem like that makes sense? So I have just I have that warm and natural. Is that what this is called? Warm and natural batting. It's a brand name, but that's pretty thin. So this is a cotton batting, and this is what I used, I think, on that swan. So this is that swan that I that we turned into a little zipper pouch, but this is that swan that I hand quilted, and I believe I used the same batting, and that worked well. So yeah, so this is that what did I even call it? The something in natural. if you just type that up, or like something natural, warm and natural, I think warm's in it, like warm and natural batting, it'll all pop up. The brand will be obvious, I think, at that point. Yeah, Cheryl says it would depend on, it would be on how lofty you want the quilt. So that's a good point. So it would probably work with any size batting, but yeah, if you want like big, like a big poofy batting, which actually might be kind of nice with hand quilting, because you know, like for this back example where I left a nice big space, that would be like extra like poofy, right? So that could be really, really, really pretty with hand sewing, I would think too. So yeah, I guess it's just a preference. I think it's probably maybe a hair easier if it's not so poofy, but it would look pretty awesome with it extra like fat batting. So this is our goal here. These are the other ones that we've done so far. So this is our cat, C, and then we have B. I kind of like these little sparse flowers, and then letter A here. So that is what we'll be doing tomorrow with this dog. So I got my back fabric here, and I do have that warm and natural batting. So we need to pin all these together. But first, I'm going to press this just a little bit so we can get that ring out of there. Oh, geez, sorry, I kicked you guys. And actually, let's just get a little higher right away. And I think TikTok, you'll be fine right there. Okay, so let's give this a little press. So I just put my wool mat down. Yeah, you know what? Usually I press from the back, and I forgot my fluffy towel. I usually like pressing on a big fluffy bath towel, because then if I press on the back, it's not going to squish all my stitches. But I think we'll be fine. I'm just going to do kind of the outer edge here a little bit. And this is coming out just fine. Oh, Justin says, wow, you hand quilted the swan pouch beautifully. Thanks so much. That gives me hope. Is there a template for that part anywhere? What I did for the back, so here's what I did for the swan. Let me grab that again. So for the swan, I just outlined it a zillion times. So I echoed it basically. So I just went around the shape of the motif, and I just kept making rows bigger and bigger around the motif, which actually would work fabulous for one of these guys. You can just keep going around and around and around. That's kind of what we did for that cat. We went around that first little blip, and now if I just kept going around and around, that's what I did for that. And then the back is basically a clamshell pattern. So that should pop up really easily. Just say like clamshell quilting, hand quilting template or whatever. It's just basically a bunch of bloops that are like brick laid. So like every other row, you get one in there. There are templates out there for sure. And then mine were too tall, so I added an extra little bloop in each of them, and that turned out like really, really nice. I like how that turned out a lot. I still have the blue lines on here. I got to take those out. Maybe that's why this is sitting out, just so I can take care of that yet. But yeah. So, all right, let's get our pieces here. I am going to pin this with my mat underneath again, just so I don't scratch up my table more than it already is. But all right, let's get our back piece. This is directional fabric again, meaning that there's like a clear top and bottom versus a tossed pattern where all the characters are kind of all over the place, where you can rotate it in any direction will be right. So I do have to pay attention that, okay, this is the top. So when I put it down, I'm going to have the top at the top, and then the right side, the good side of the fabric, will be facing down. Then let's get our batting piece. So with this warm and natural, one of the sides has all the little flecks in, and then one doesn't. I'm going to put the side that doesn't have it up, because I don't really want to see those from like through this fabric, even though this has like some natural little flex into, so it probably would be fine, but I'd still kind of like that to the back. All right, and what I'm going to do is now sandwich these fellers together, and we're just going to use some of my little like basting pins. So these are those curved safety pins. They have a little bend in it, so that helps go down and up through all the fabric. So let's just get them right in the belly, I think, since we're unlikely to quilt there, and it's helpful to have the pins out of the way. And we'll take them out as we quilt too. All right, so I'm just going kind of from the center out. On a large quilt, I would be taping all of this down, but for just this little bitty piece, I don't need to do that. So like I said, I'll have the measurements for the sashing. The sashing is like the inner border that goes around blocks. It's the border that goes around blocks, but since it's on the inside of the quilt, it's not called a border, it's called sashing. So that is, I'll have the measurements and stuff coming out soon, and then with that, we'll also have like a coloring page. So I'll have a little coloring page like this. So this is going to be the actual kind of design of the quilt. There's a little mistake on this that I've corrected on the one that will be going out, but I'll be having these coloring sheets if you guys want to like play around, like just test what fabric to use and stuff. Mine's going to look, I think, more like this one, where all the colors just change all the time, because I'm going to be using scraps and just like making like a big long 1-inch long strip and then cross cut it to the 8.5 inches. So here's our sashing pieces, the colorful like interior border. So I think there were like 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 24, and then we got long ones that are going to go this direction. So those are the longer ones, and then I'm just going to put a binding on, and that's it. And then actually I might do like just all strips together too. We'll see. So that's my general plan. So later, I think probably Monday or maybe this weekend, we'll be sending an email out with, and this will be totally free, a coloring sheet, and then that email, we'll also have a blog post linked from that email with the actual measurements that I'm going to be using for this quilt. So then you guys can get started for real. I know I've been a bit behind on getting that out, so thanks for bearing with me. And I was thinking about it more. So we need the sashing pieces for the front, but we also need a binding piece on the back that goes around each piece for the quilt as you go process. Oops. And the reason for that is we need to cover up the raw edges with something, and that'll make sense once we get going on it. But anyway, I was thinking, man, what color should I do that? And I think I might actually try and do it with the same fabric, like this fabric here. Then I won't confuse it, and I think I have enough of it yet. And if not, I can sneak in another little one maybe. But anyway, I think I'm going to use that fabric for it. I don't know how easy it'll be to hand stitch, because we'll have to like hand stitch it on once it's like the finishing of it, we'll have to hand stitch. So we'll see how easy that is. But I could always machine stitch it too, I suppose. But I'm going to get one more on here. And then maybe we can just do a little test drawing. Someone mentioned that like little bones would be good on here for quilting. So I thought maybe we just kind of get this out. I got my little notepad. Maybe we can just draw on the back of one of these sheets. But anyway, so we are prepped for the sewing machine. So tomorrow we will quilt this, and it'll be like one of these guys then. So we have our like finished little quilted guys here, and now this is what we'll actually cut this down eventually to 8.5 inches. So we'll lose all those edges. but it'll make it like really nice and clean, and then we'll be assembling all of them next to each other. But I'm really excited for that quilt as you go process. So I'm hoping next time we work on this, we'll be able to like do a little bit of that. So, all right, I want to do a hair of practice. So one way that we could do like bones would be, so here's like the dog shape in the middle here, would be to have like, do it like a swirl or a meander where we just kind of, you know, get to a bone and then swirl our way out of there, you know, like that. And then we can get to another bone. I suppose that's kind of like what bones look like, right? So I'm thinking that would be one way that we could do this that seems manageable to me. It's funny, I'm laughing at myself because I feel like I have to go in full concentration mode to do like I can't even talk, so I have to go in full concentration mode even when I'm not quilting, even when I'm like fake quilting here. I feel like it's the same like pressure or the same like concentration amount as if I'm doing it for real, and I didn't know it was going to be like that, so I'm laughing at myself because of that. But actually I'm kind of liking this already. I think this might like be, you know, valid. And we could still write text and stuff in. Someone said it should say like woof, and then we could just like spin out of there. I don't know, maybe it looks a little weird, but I kind of like, I mean, I like the words. Maybe we just do words. So it could be, this is just kind of this general shape, but it could be like squiggles with like words. That would be fun to practice. And then we squiggle out of there. And then we could write like bark. I kind of like that. It's a little bit more subtle. We got to get back in here somehow. So maybe like we have like 3 or 4 words. Ooh, here I would have to write it backwards if I came this direction. I don't know, another dog word. How about paw? So backwards will be interesting. We'll have to maybe draw it out if I have to go backwards. Anywho, I kind of like that idea. I like the idea of words, so maybe we do that for the quilting. Ooh, now I'm excited. I think this is gonna work. All right, and I am like literally feeling more comfortable already. I always get so nervous about quilting, but I feel pretty confident about getting in and out of places with swirls. And then I was looking this morning, there's another fun way to get out of a swirl. You know, you could do little swirls that are just single swirls, but it's okay to like go around it again. And that looks pretty too. So I think I can rely on that there'll be a way to get in and out. Because that's like my big fear, is getting in and out of spaces. Not fear, but, you know, challenge. That's a better way of saying it. Anywho, I'm already feeling like, dang, having a light board, not a light board, what was it called? A dry erase board, a whiteboard. Isn't that what I said? Oh, I said a light board. A whiteboard. Yeah, a whiteboard. I can already tell just like putzing around here that I'm going to actually really like having a whiteboard around just to practice. If anything, maybe I'll try talking and drawing at the same time, and then I'll be able to talk while I quilt, because that's been hard. But anyway, I do like this word idea. I think we'll go with something with swirls because I feel okay doing swirls, like they're not so scary. And then if I throw in some words every once in a while, I think that'll be really fun. I like the idea of adding words. It'll be like practice in my cursive too, I suppose. All right, you guys, and I think that's where we're gonna probably call it. Oh, Maddie's asking what a small doghouse. Oh, I like that idea. I'm gonna just draw a picture of that here because I'm gonna need a little reference of that. So we could just like this. I'm trying to think of how can I do it all with one thing, but we could do like Fido. That's a dog thing. Yeah, I like the idea of a little doghouse. We'll do it a little cuter than that. We could actually even okay, now I'm getting crazy, but we could do like little shingles on it too. Do a little fill. We could get super crazy with just like one little aspect of it. Anyway. All right. I like that idea. So a little doghouse and some text. I think that'll be good. Maddie's asking, are you quilting the squares as I go? Yes. So I have these other blocks. So we already did we're A through D at this point. So we have C and B and A, and then I have a little practice guy here too. That'll be kind of fun to fill up, just like a warm up area. I haven't quilted in a long time, so this is all fresh to me again. So this is going to be a great practice for me to try to get better at my motifs and get in and out of places better, which is a challenge for me. But yes, so we're going to be doing the whole quilt as you go process for this. Ultimately, we're going to be making a quilt something like this, and those sashing pieces will be part of the quilt as you go process. So we work on this particular project for the first and second weeks of the month. We do one letter per week, and when there's extra time at the end of the week, we will be doing wherever we're at with the quilt as you go process. And in this case, we're going to quilt this guy, and we'll probably have extra time. So if we have extra time, maybe I will cut some sashing pieces because I don't have my sashing pieces cut yet. So we can pick out fabrics and kind of get going on that. I won't have a machine set up. I mean, I'll have the free motion machine, but the feed dogs don't work on that machine. So I need a different machine to just do straight lines, like sewing my sashing pieces together. So we can do the quilting part tomorrow, but I won't be able to sew sashing pieces together, but we could cut them because last time we did this, we did all three of them, the A through C, all in one go. So we should be able to do this, in like 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll have tons of extra time that we can cut sashing. Then we'll be completely prepped for this, which is fabulous. And we can just do the real quilt as you go process where we actually assemble blocks in the coming months. So we'll be ready to go. So awesome. I think we'll end it there tonight then. I know this is usually we go for about an hour, but we're at the having to set up tons of stuff point. But it was really, really helpful for me to go through that quilting on this. And thanks for your suggestions for sure. And I do literally just that one little drawing of it, I feel way more confident about it. So maybe I should put that into my practice of quilting, is just make sure to do a little sketch of it beforehand, even just to warm up. That felt good. So we'll do that a little bit tomorrow, and yeah, feeling good. And I'll look for that whiteboard. That'll be good. Maybe I'll get the whiteboard out, and then we can practice on that too before we get going. Ooh, I love it. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. All right, you guys. Have a lovely evening. I'll be back here 8:30 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Good night.